Marvel Studios always makes incredible movies and leaves audiences in awe of the cutting-edge effects that make things look so natural. But have you ever wondered how they do it? The franchise's success is partly due to good actors and well-written scripts, but there's much more behind the camera than people realize. So sit back and relax as we talk about the tricks that make Marvel movies great. Starting with the wires, helping the actors fly. Wires often make it look like superheroes can make impressive acrobatic moves or float feet above the ground. When our friendly neighborhood Spider-Man swings through the streets, he's held by a harness with 4 or 5 wires. So they're wires and not webs? Yeah, we know it seems bland, but the real heroes of these movies are the cables that hold up the platforms, flying ships, and other props that look like they're flying through the air. Next up is the use of blue screens to imitate space. Technology has changed a lot over the years in the movie business, and green screen technology is only the latest that's used in many movies with big universes to make the animation look as accurate as possible. One thing we didn't know was that during post-production, green isn't the only color used as a background for digital images. A blue screen was used in movies like Guardians of the Galaxy, where the characters spend a lot of time in space. This blue screen reflects less light than a green screen, so it's a great way to show that the heroes were always flying through a deep void of space. Depending on how much each color is in the main shot, technicians switch between green and blue screens. If the subject being filmed is primarily blue, a green screen will be used, and vice versa, followed by motion trackers creating CGI characters. Motion trackers are another way of technology often used in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. They're small, round white dots on actors to record their movements. Editors then put a digital skeleton over the actor's movement to make CGI characters such as the Mad Titan Thanos. This often looks silly and has nothing to do with how we see our favorite characters, which makes us admire the performers and actors who do this even more. Adding insult to injury, actors who play characters like Thanos or the Hulk, who are much taller than the other characters, will wear a big hat or helmet to let the other actors know where to look when they talk to them. As for characters who are smaller in size, smaller versions of these types of motion trackers can be strategically placed on specific muscles of an actor's face to capture their facial expressions. This makes CGI characters feel more natural to an audience. Also, in flashbacks like Kurt Russell's ego trips back to the 1980s in the Guardians of the Galaxy sequel. These trackers also play a big part in making the characters look younger. Oh, so that's how they showed a younger version of Tony Stark. Let's not forget hours of makeup and prosthetics. Makeup work was also needed for de-aging, and it's another time-consuming step that adds to the Marvel magic. Artists need about 2.5 to 3 hours to do the makeup for characters like Gamora from Guardians of the Galaxy, whose skin is green, and Killmonger from Black Panther, who has raised dots on his skin that are meant to look like scars. But the team didn't stop there though. Zoe Saldana, who plays Gamora, had fake cheekbones made of prosthetics, just like Killmonger's scars were made of prosthetics all over his body. They also made a fake shadow line between the actress's eyebrows to make her look less human. This makeup has to be put on so that it doesn't come off during action scenes and stunts, which is kind of magic when it's done right. Lastly, the action shots are filmed until they are perfect. It's hard to imagine how someone could plan an explosion or crash, like in Doctor Strange. When Strange crashes his Lamborghini, Scott Derrickson, the director, wanted the crash to look a certain way, so the scene had to be shot more than once. They ended up destroying 9 Lamborghinis, to the point where the scene could be filmed perfectly. How convenient! During big fight scenes, there's so much going on that it's hard to stop and think about how carefully every explosion, jump, punch, fall, and movement has been planned. In Captain America Civil War, for example, Cap is thrown out of a window and hits an awning, a big truck, and then the ground. An awning had to be built and put just at the right angle to make this work perfectly. Scenes like this are hard enough to plan and film without having to hide the pads and wires the actors use to keep from seriously hurting themselves. This is especially true when the scene might only last a few seconds after all the planning. So, all of this comes together to make the blockbuster movie franchise that we all know and love. And with technology always getting better, the sky's the limit, and we know that Marvel Studios will reach for it with a bit of help from their wires and harnesses. In other related news, first, Marvel confirms new War Machine suits. Don Cheadle revealed earlier this month that he's no longer signed to Marvel as Colonel James Rhodes, aka War Machine. The character has been in 7 movies and 1 TV show, but his suits haven't changed much. But since the reveal at D23, Marvel Studios sent out a new press release with a further description of Armor Wars, an upcoming series about Don Cheadle's character, James Rhodes, who has to deal with what happens when Tony Stark's technology gets into the wrong hands. In particular, the press release says there may be a new set of armor for the War Machine. Let's go! Rhodey fans will see the character in a whole new way, and since the name of the show is Armor Wars, they can expect the hero to get new suits with different kinds of armor. Also, in a recent interview, Cheadle talked about whether or not Secret Invasion leads up to Armor Wars. The actor revealed that both the stories are tied together, and everything that happens in the MCU from the beginning of Secret Invasion to the end of Armor Wars is connected. Boy, he's getting all of us excited! Coming up next, the Iron Man video game is announced by EA. Great news for Marvel fans, as EA Motive and Marvel are working together to make an Iron Man video game come to life. In a tweet, EA Motive said that the partnership with Marvel Games would result in a brand new single-player action-adventure Iron Man game. We've noticed Marvel is putting out more single-player action-adventure games, which are also its most popular AAA games. According to fans, the Spider-Man and Guardians of the Galaxy projects are the highest rated. There's no doubt about that. And as for the game, it won't be the first thing made about Iron Man, but it could be the best one so far. Bill Roseman, Vice President and Creative Director of Marvel Games, said in a press release that they're excited to work with the talented people at Motive Studio to bring their original version of one of Marvel's most important, powerful, and loved characters to life. He also added that their experience making established entertainment worlds and exciting gameplay, along with their genuine love for the armored icon, will help them make the best Iron Man video game possible, which will be like a love letter to a legendary hero. We don't know when the game will come out, as the Iron Man game is still in the early stages of development, but it'll be the first time Marvel and EA will work together on a project. Last but not least, Marvel to modify Israeli superhero after anti-Zionist backlash. After Israeli actress Shira Haas was cast as the Israeli superheroine and Mossad agent Sabra in the Marvel Cinematic Universe last week, many people posted anti-Zionist messages on social media to show how upset they were about the Israeli hero's first live-action appearance. The pro-Israelis were finally happy that an Israeli superhero was set to appear in a Hollywood movie and the MCU, but people against Israel were clearly disappointed. According to the New York Times, hashtag Captain Apartheid also became popular and was trending on social media soon after the casting. To deal with the immense backlash, Marvel Studios told Variety and CNN, "Our characters and stories are based on the comics, but they are always reimagined for the screen and the audience of today." They added that Sabra, who was first seen in comics more than 40 years ago, will get a new look in the movie, possibly an altered backstory as well. With her first appearance in the movie, Sabra would be one of the first mutants to show up in a feature-length film in the MCU. That's all for this video. What are your thoughts on these behind-the-scenes techniques? Did you know any of these before? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more exciting content in the future. Thanks for watching. See you next time.